Going live yet?
I have no idea.
We're live now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now
I was actually going to start this live stream by going test,
test.
but then I just did.
Are
So,
we live?
yeah,
Okay.
we're live now. All right. No more comments about the microphone.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Woo! In this live stream, we're going to talk about the results of a Texas Real Estate Commission complaint, state agency, another complaint against me. The results have concluded. Mansfield ISD voted on the recall. Did they vote for it or against it? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Why you should not wait to buy a house, what's going on with the real estate market, how you should react, how you should feel about that, all the scandalous real estate market scoop. How should you do a 2-1 buy down? What about seller paid closing costs? Should you do an allowance? We can answer those questions. There's going to be a 3D virtual tour we're going to check out. I'm going to show you the inside of a beautiful house that has lakefront access where they're selling $2 million houses. This one's selling for a fraction of that price. You get lakefront access. We're going to talk about the next steps in tax protesting, what you need to do to make sure you're set up for success, how we're changing the payment structure on our free tax protest. I say it's free, then I say we're changing the payment structure. What could I be talking about? Oh no, is he going to charge for tax protest? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Did you ever see the TV show 24?
Yes.
They have some of the best cliffhangers. At the end of the episode, it's
Yeah.
like, you gotta watch
Yeah.
to get the next. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that.
Okay.
Am I doing all right?
Yeah, you're doing
All right.
good.
All right, let's keep going.
I'm ready.
There are some bills that are being discussed at the Texas legislature. There's one on the House side, one on the Senate side. I'm going to give you a little bit of scoop on that. There's a bill to abolish the appraisal district that's being considered. It has made progress. I'm going to give you that update. I'm going to talk about the dynamics that I was just talking about with one of my real estate agents. I do a lot of real estate coaching, sales coaching, and part of the principles involved in this is I want to do coaching behind closed doors that I would be okay with all of our clients hearing. I would, if all of our sales training became public, I want to be proud of it with anybody. So I'm going to give you a peek behind the curtain on one thing that we were talking about. So stay tuned for that. And then I'm coaching my son on how to build a business, grow a business, and make money. And did it just make us come back? Holy mackerel. Probably on my end, but you're frozen. No, I should be back. Am I back? Jacqueline, am I back? I wonder at what point this thing started freezing up. I need somebody to tell me I'm back, and then I'm going to get right back on the horse. Yes, I'm back. Let's go. Now the enthusiasm has come back as a rushing surge of adrenaline. I'm ready. We're on live camera here. Things are happening.
This is Chandler for real.
I wonder if everybody heard what I just said was going to be in the video. I wonder if everybody heard that, or if it was already in the death spiral of internet connectivity. Yes, I'm back. I've been frozen for 2 solid minutes. Did you hear the intro? Did you hear that I'm going to teach you how to get rich at the end of this video? If you heard that, then I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to get right back on track. Did I tell you that I was going to teach you? Just started. All right. Yes, I've been back for 2 minutes. Did anybody hear? I'm hearing it. Let's just go. We're internet technology, it doesn't matter. You can't hold me down. The technology can't hold me down. The appraisal district can't hold me down.
No.
Property taxes, a crazy real estate market, banks failing. It doesn't matter. We're continuing right here, right now. And I promise you, I'll be calm today. I'm going to do this.
What is this letter over here?
Hey, yeah.
What is
Thank you
this?
for keeping me on track.
That-
You are
That's
awesome.
my job.
Somebody filed a complaint on me. Yes, another complaint. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I talked about it. I wrote a post, and if you go, I wonder what the name of that post was. But somebody filed another complaint on me. This time it was through the Texas Real Estate Commission, but this isn't actually new news. I just didn't focus on it because the person that filed this complaint wasn't actually a government official this time. It was a property tax consultant and a real estate.
Would you call him a peer?
A peer, I would call him a doc. I don't do peers. You get it?
No.
A peer instead of a doc. A
Mhm.
doc instead of a peer. No, maybe he's a. Can I say doc head? This is bad.
All right.
Okay. So let me. Let's see. I'm going to show you the. There is another. Let's see. There was one about goons. If you go to my blog, you look at the blog post about goons, you can find stuff about this complaint. Here's the thing. I haven't focused on it because honestly, I'm just really sick and tired of all the negativity. I'm tired of complaints. I'm tired of having to fight complaints. I'm tired of having to deal with all this stuff. And I want this stuff cut out of my life like a cancer. Unfortunately, it's still moving and squirming on the ground. And so I got to put it out of its misery. I got to just put this stuff to rest. And that's kind of what's going on. So I can get back to just helping people. I'm not going to stop helping people, but I'd like for that to be the only thing that I'm thinking about instead of having to help people and deal with all these stinky people at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. So back on shortly after August the 12th, I was notified that a property tax consultant filed a complaint on me.
Mm-hmm.
This was shortly after people publicly accused me of fraudulently signing signatures on government documents and committing felonies and all this stuff. When then they said, hey, we're going to go ahead and file a complaint. Let me read to you. The result of this complaint is Chandler guilty. Did I do anything wrong? Well, you're about to find out right now. It says that.
Oh, you're guilty. Just kidding.
Look at this live. This is what happens. Her and my wife will just, yeah.
Sorry.
I'm a victim here. I'm a victim of the. All right. It says look. I'm not going to read this whole letter. There's a lot here. I'll tell you what it says, but that's a lot of text here. Here's what it says. Based on the foregoing, there is insufficient evidence demonstrating that a violation of the Texas Real Estate Commission's rules occurred. Moreover, there is insufficient evidence demonstrating that these facts, alleged violations, fall within the jurisdiction of the Texas Real Estate Commission. The alleged conduct, even accessing the MLS to gather data, does not meet the definition of brokerage activity. The commission must first have jurisdiction to review or assess a violation in this matter, and then must be able to meet a burden of proof before assessing a violation related to a complaint. In this matter, there is insufficient evidence that the commission has either. In other words, Chandler did nothing wrong, and the people that filed the complaint are morons.
Morons. But
And thank God I get this trash out of my life.
Yes.
I am so sick of dealing with complaints where I've done nothing wrong. But what people don't understand is the amount of time and energy that goes into defending yourself on that kind of stuff is insane, because I don't do anything halfway. I go all the way.
yeah.
The Trek investigator said, Chandler, this is the best intake form I've ever had on a complaint. I pretty this up like we're going to go to the grand jury and my life is on the line,
Yeah.
and I button the sucker up. And it takes hours upon hours.
Yes.
And it demonstrates, hey, Chandler's under attack here by some punks. And I'm not going to stand for it. I'm feeling rage inside. Behind the smile is nothing but rage. Complete rage. I'm like the Joker. I may be smiling and laughing, but you better watch out.
Yeah.
freaking out on the inside. I'm
It's
going
your-
to
it's
tear
your-
their heads off.
This is your life. This is your
Yeah.
livelihood. This is not fun and games.
It's not fun and games. An attack on me, an attack on my business is an attack on my family, attack on my kids, and I do not care what it takes. I will eliminate the threat in a legal, morally responsible way. I'm not going to stand for it.
No.
It starts to get real psycho when I whisper. I'm not going to stand for it. You punks, you better watch out. I'm going to. I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever.
I'm not threatening crap, anything.
No,
I'm not
just-
doing anything. I'm going to
stop.
do my very best to help people, to put food on the table. And when something stands in the way of that, I'm going to swish it off out of the way, like swatting a fly. I'm going to get it out of the way so I can continue focusing on leading with love and value and giving back and serving people at a high level and trying to take care of folks. Or what are we saying? We should be able to know who the accuser is. You want to know who the accuser is? What do you think? Should I tell him? This is what the Global Traveler says this. All right. I need to hear. Do you want me to Dockhead? Beth votes for Dockhead. Would you like me to reveal the accuser? I don't know. Here's the thing. I kind of don't want to make this person any more significant than they are. And the truth is that they're pretty insignificant. And that to me is the worst thing I can say about them. They don't matter. And they would matter, but they're just filled with vile hate, and they're trying to prevent people from getting help. And it's pretty sickening, and it's not going to work. But so it's kind of like, I don't know.
The person
I kind of like to
it's
waste.
on your blog.
Huh?
It's on your blog.
It's on my blog. Go back, look at the. Can you just? Oh, here it is. If you want to know more about this, I'll show you. You can go to. Hold on, let me share this other screen.
Can you
Share screen. Can I what?
just put the link out there? That would help.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll do exactly that. Okay, so here's a link. If you want to know this, to me, the kind of the juicy part about this blog was the goons, because that was super nuts.
Crazy.
It was really crazy. But then right here, I said the tax consultants that don't like me. There's where I'm talking about the complaint. Oh, and so these things are related. This one and this one are related. So how about this? Let's turn the page on this negativity and let's just not worry about it. And let's get back to doing what I'm doing. Look, I will fight. Obviously, I'm not opposed to a good hearty fight, especially when I'm absolutely right and they're absolutely wrong. But I don't like that being part of my world. And so let's tone that down a little bit. All right.
Okay.
Moving on. Next online. All right. Chandler's innocent. Let's just say that again. Chandler's done nothing wrong. All right.
Chandler's doing what he should be doing.
They're the bad guys. I'm the good guy. And thank you guys. The only way I'm able to get through this is because you guys are such amazing support. I feel the love. And that's the only good part that comes from these complaints. I'm able to root out some evil, find it, squash it, pull out the weeds. And it causes you guys to show me tremendous love, and that it's overwhelming, and it keeps me going, and it's worth the fight. And I am so appreciative to all the support. It's like I would get emotional if I sat here and talked about too long. We're not going to do that. What we are going to talk about is another little leg of the fight. We have this issue where the recall of the chairwoman for the Tarrant Appraisal District Board of Directors happened. We had Keller vote for it. They initiated it because they're true leaders. We had the Tarrant County Commissioner Court vote for it. They re-voted for it. We have true leaders that are at the Commissioner's Court. The judge is a leader. They're great. Then we had the city of Mansfield vote for it. I mentioned Casey Lewis is a leader. He's great. And they voted for the recall. I think it was 7-0. And then we had Mansfield ISD at the time. Last Friday, I said that they were going to vote for it. I said that it was going to happen at 3:00. Well, it happened. And what I didn't really understand at the time is that the Mansfield ISD, they called a special meeting just to vote on this topic. And I thought that was awesome. And so they did that. And I just want to show these people because these are great people. The Mansfield Independent School District, here are the Board of Trustees. Here are these great folks. I want to tell you, Desiree Thomas has been very involved in getting informed and educated about all the stuff going on at TAD. She's gone the extra mile and she deserves recognition. If you have the ability to vote for her, she is standing up for the people. I have no idea if she's Democrat, Republican, and it just doesn't matter. She's standing up for me and you. And this guy right here stood up. I've never met him. I've never talked to him, but he had some great things to say. And if you go back and listen to the school board meeting, you can Google to find it. You probably won't. That's fine. But he's the leader. And so I just wanted to mention that and give them the recognition that they're due, because we need good people standing up, willing to be leaders and working inside the system, standing up for me and you. Not all politicians are bad. We need the good guys to stand up, and we need to recognize good behavior and good decisions when we see it. So that's that. Moving on to the next point.
Oh, man. Okay.
You know what? I thought you actually need to run the meeting.
I need to run the meeting.
You need to tee it off. You need to be the MC, just like we do in our sales meetings.
Okay.
You need to be the person. And so then you tell me, here, can you read the next one? Can you read my handwriting?
I suppose.
All
right. So do you want to go in order?
Yeah. And then until we don't.
Until we don't. Okay. Well, so let's talk about why you shouldn't wait to buy a house.
Okay, I'll skip that one.
Okay.
Let's
All
do
right.
this next one.
How about the Guerin bill? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that for just a second while I tee up this other thing. So Charlie Guerin saw all the crazy stuff going on at the appraisal district, and he said, look, let's stop this madness. This is crazy. The Tarrant appraisal district is just a big mess. And he said, how about we just get rid of the entire appraisal district?
He's a state representative.
Yes.
Yes.
Charlie Guerin. He represents some of the more affluent parts of Fort Worth, and then a bunch of rural parts. But he has, there's some hierarchy and positions that you can hold in the state legislature. And so without getting too in the weeds on it, he's like the number 2 guy in the House of Representatives. And he's been doing it for like over a decade. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time. So when he files a bill, if he wants to get something passed, he'll get it passed. He filed this bill to abolish the Tarrant appraisal district, and it would basically hand over control to the comptroller, kind of like how FDIC will take control of a bank, or the TEA will take control of a school district if it's just off the rails and they're like, hey, let's just hit the reset button on this thing.
Okay.
That's what happened. So, but to get a law passed, it has to go through a lot. It has to go through a committee, get passed out of the committee, go to the House of Representatives for a floor vote. Then it has to go to the other side, which would be the Senate, and get a vote. And then it has to get the governor's signature. There's a few steps in between, but that's it at the simple level.
Right.
And I thought on the surface, I thought this bill would be, it's kind of just for show. Well, here's the update on the bill.
Oh, no.
It got referred to the Ways and Means Committee. So I don't know when the hearing is off the top of my head, but I don't know. It has legs.
That's a very powerful committee. They write the budget.
If they pass it out of that committee, the odds it's going to get passed are a lot higher.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Wow.
All right. So there's that. Let me show you this. We have a brand new listing. This one's awesome because it's really close to the lake, but hold on. Let me press 0 here. I wanted to make this bigger over here. I think all I have to do is hit that button, and then let's just try it. Let's see. There we go. Boom. All right. So here's this property. Oh, geez. You know what I just realized?
What?
They shut this thing off. If you show an address, they shut it off. So I'm going to just creep up here without showing the address. And I'm going to hit a button. So for $685,000, I want to show you where the property is located. Geez, it's not possible. All right. Hold on. Let me take it off the stream. It doesn't matter. The only people that Google likes to take, if you show someone's address, they think that you're trying to bully them or something. So they'll actually remove it from the video platform. So what I'm going to do is I'll just tell you a little bit about it. And then I'm going to show you can show the inside of someone's house. You just can't show like the address. It's kind of weird. There's a virtual tour. All right. So here's what we got. This thing, there's like one street where 3 houses have access to this boat dock that's on the lake. And so you get to have lake access and basically be a lake. It's not technically a lakefront property, but it kind of is because they have their own boat dock. It's just that if you had the label of lakefront, you'd be paying $2 million. If you have this property, you pay $685,000. So you get all the front awesomeness. And the house is just, incredible. And I'm going to snoop for a bit, but if you go to,
Wow, it's gorgeous.
it's pretty awesome. And I'm looking at this. Check out this painting. This is the cool thing you get to do with these. Oh, geez, I passed right by it.
Look at how cool this house is.
All right, check this out. The you see what that painting is?
Oh, it's the Little Mermaid.
It's the Little Mermaid. Doesn't that look awesome?
Super cool.
When I saw that and then I turned around and I saw this pool table, I was like, I want to meet these people and hang out there. I bet they're just cool. And then I saw this artwork over here. It's like, this is what I do in a house. I see houses all the time. So I'm kind of like, I just get more interested in the decor than anything. And like trying to understand the personality. But this is cool people and a cool house. It's really awesome. And I would say, I mean, the house is gorgeous. You should check out the 3D tour. I'm not going to do too much because there's topics to cover. But the point is that we've got this house. It's available. It just hit the market like a few days ago. And if you want to take a private tour, you can either do this 3D video tour and check it out and snoop around and kind of have a walk through this house. What are you doing?
I was going to ask, can you put the link in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, what I'll do, can you Google that address and grab me a link? And then here, just, do you have the address? You can click back and forth, just whatever you and find search coming soon on it. All right. So I'm going to give you contact information. If you want to schedule showing for this one, then Luis is my man that is representing our company in this deal. He is awesome. You can email him, Luis, Luis at chandlercrouch.com, or just give him a call, 817-455-1520. Okay. So that house is awesome. We're about to put the link to the 3D tour in the description, but we're going to move on to some other stuff. For just a second, I want to talk about, here I'm taking control of the order of operations again.
That's good, because I don't know what you want to do.
It's hard. I know. I say, hey, why don't you do this? And I completely pull the rug out from under you.
So what link do you want me to put in there?
Now put the words coming soon to Chandler Crouch, and then it'll pop up. All right. So we're going to talk about, here's something. A lot of people are like wondering, should I buy or sell a house right now? Should I wait or whatever? What's going to happen? And trying to predict the future. And some people are thinking that they should wait. And I just want to explain why it doesn't really help to wait. And it just goes here. Forget it. We'll get the link out. If you're interested, we'll just we'll come and give you the link. Actually, yeah. If you're one of our real estate agents watching, can you just throw the link in the on the comments, and then we'll send it out to everybody. But I don't want to stop down and try and get this, because what I do want to talk about is something that a lot of people are asking. Is a lot of people are reaching out to our office just saying, hey, should we wait to buy or sell? They see what's going on, and the only way to really answer this is to answer it with some facts and some information. So I'm going to answer this question really quick, and then after that, I'm going to talk about how to get rich, and we'll go into that.
All right.
Chandler's going to teach and some other stuff. All right, trends. Here's what we got. I'm going to show you this. Boom. All right. So when you're looking at the real estate market, I just want to show you, this is the trend line for the median value of real estate. And you can see that it's popping up right here. Okay. The thing that causes that to increase is supply and demand. Supply goes down, demand goes up, house values increase. Okay. The reason why we didn't see a little bit more of a pop in here is because of interest rates. That's basically it. You just had interest rates go up. The demand was still there. It's just that people were, no, I shouldn't say it like that. People still wanted to buy. It's just that the ones that could afford to wait, they're trying to just wait to see if interest rates are going to come down. They decided to wait. And so the demand didn't increase. And so that's what caused this. Well, now you've got summer happening, the warm season is coming. So people are putting their house on the market, and there's more people that are looking to buy because you've got kids getting out for school. And this is just when people move. The sales volume kicks up a few notches. And so the demand is showing up. Some people are saying, okay, interest rates have dipped just a little bit from where they were. And people are starting to realize these interest rates are here to stay. The days of 2% that was fantasy land, and those days are long gone. In the scheme of things, when you look at how good we're at right now in the broad spectrum. 6%, 6.5% is actually a really good interest rate when you look at over the past 30, 40 years. That's still a really good interest rate.
Yep.
We've seen in the 80s there was
14%.
yeah, I've heard 14%. I've heard horror stories.
I bought a house in 2003 with 6%, and I was thrilled.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. So, but here's the thing: we're seeing some kind of weird economic trends that seem to be present in the 80s when we're talking about inflation, and you had the savings and loan crisis back then, and then interest rates shot up like crazy. I don't know if we're going to see that or not. I doubt it. But if we see that, all the more reason to buy now, because what's going to happen is the only reason why you should consider to wait is if you thought the real estate market was going to crash. That's the only viable reason. And what I'm trying to show you is that it's not going to crash. We're not in the middle of a real estate bubble. And I could show you another chart. I'm not going to sit here and try and fish around for it. But in times of recession, the real estate market has gotten better in every single recession except for the last one. Where in 2008, and that was a real estate caused recession, a totally different type of recession. Now, if we've got bank failures and inflation happening and all that stuff going on, interest rates may jump sky high. So for that reason, let's go ahead and pull the trigger.
Yeah.
But if interest rates do go down, you can always refinance later. That leaves one possible reason why you should wait, and that would be if you think real estate prices are going to drop, and they're just not.
No.
So if real estate prices are picking up, if rates go down, you can always refinance, and we can talk about this stuff all day long. But
don't wait. That's
we
the
just
whole
keep getting the
message.
same question, so it's like, well, I should answer. And here's the thing: I got on here and I was telling people a year ago that. A year ago, I was saying now's the best time to buy or sell a house because you could buy at dirt cheap interest rates and property values were skyrocketing. Actually, I was saying that for quite a while. Well, times have changed. And I said a year ago, it was really more like 2 years ago was the best time. And I was making no secret about it. People would expect me to say that. But here's the thing. That was the best time. That was the best time.
It's gone.
It's gone. Now, here's the new normal. You don't have 2% interest rates anymore. But you know what's the next best time? If you can't do it back then, it's today.
It's right now.
It's because
right now.
real estate prices are about to go up again. And interest rates are not going to get any cheaper. If anything, they're going to go up. All right. Some people are saying, well, I can't buy the same size of house that I could have bought 2 years ago because real estate prices have gone up and interest rates have gone up. So a solution that people are using is something called a 2-1 buy down. And so what this means is it's almost like you can prepay the interest on the loan and get a lower interest rate for the first 2 years. Okay. And so what we're doing is we're seeing sellers contribute money to the buyer's interest rate to buy the interest rate down so that they can afford to pay more for the house. And then within a couple of years, if they're not planning on living there for forever, then they can just sell at a certain point. Or if interest rates dip, then they can refinance later on. I don't think that that's a great solution if you're planning on living there long term.
What's long term? How many years?
Well, the average time somebody stays in a house is about 6 to 8 years. We're closer to 8 right now. So people generally own a house for 8 years on average before they resell. I can't remember when the break even is on this. But I'm wanting to say if you're going to stay there longer than 4 years, I wouldn't do the buy down. I'd just go ahead and take the 30-year fixed interest rate mortgage. I wouldn't do an adjustable rate mortgage or anything like that. That's what I would do.
Okay.
But now, here's the question. It kind of relates to this, which is, well, I didn't know you could get the seller to pay for the buyer's points on their loan or closing costs or anything like that.
Wait, say that again.
Thank you for slowing me down. I talk like the Micro Machine Man. If you don't tap the brakes every now and then, if you're a buyer placing an offer, you can negotiate to get the seller to pay for your closing costs.
Okay.
So that could come in the form of they could pay for like your appraisal and loan fees, or they could actually pay towards this 2-1 buy down that I'm talking about to pay down your interest rate so you can afford the house.
And get the house you want.
and get the house you want. So that's just one form of negotiating to get the seller to pay for the buyer's costs. You could also get the seller to offer an allowance for carpet or paint or that sort of thing, or pay for any type of closing costs. It doesn't have to be the prepaid interest. And so some people are like, oh, wow, they get really excited at this. Yeah. But it actually doesn't matter at all in the scheme of things. It's not like you're going to get an advantage over the seller by negotiating for them to pay for this stuff, because if your seller has a real estate agent that's worth a darn, which something like 95% of all transactions, the seller's going to have a real estate agent, and whether they're worth a darn is another story. But here's the thing. If I'm a buyer and I'm making an offer to you and I'm asking for you to pay for my costs, what I've effectively done is decrease the amount of money you're going to stick in your pocket from my offer. Do you think, did I lose anybody there? Did that make sense?
I'm following you.
Okay. So if I add more expenses to your plate, that means you're going to have to pay more. You're going to stick less money in your pocket, right?
Yes.
A real estate agent that's worth anything will just do the math for their client and say, hey, by the way, here's some seller paid closing costs that they're asking you to pay for some of their fees. So I know it says they're offering $500,000, but it's really $480,000. And so you need to know that and evaluate this offer on the net offer and not the total gross offer.
Got it.
Right. So we weren't seeing this for a couple of years because the real estate market was going crazy. People were trying to figure out how they could sell the house at the top of the price range. And the thing that was limiting us was the appraisal. It was the appraised value of the property.
And banks need the appraisal.
That's exactly right.
Right.
If you don't have extra money to throw on top of the appraised value, then you can't offer more than the appraised value, because the bank won't lend money above the appraised value.
Right.
They're only going to lend money on what the house is worth, not on a speculative value. And when those appraisals are based on what the value was in the past, not future. So it's like if the sales recently were at this level, and we all know the real estate market's going like this, the appraisal is going to come in at this level and not at this level, because those sales haven't happened yet, but people are just coughing up money. Anyway, the point is now the market's a teeny bit softer, where if you need to get the seller to pay for some of your closing costs, you can negotiate that. And the reason why is because sellers understand that there's usually a percentage point or two that you could expect somebody to negotiate on their house. If it's sat on the market for a while and it hadn't had any offers, then you can expect that. And we're seeing that more and more. But the thing that I wanted to bring up is that just because you're asking the seller to pay for your costs, it doesn't change. It's not like you're getting an extra advantage. You have to consider what the seller's viewpoint is on this. You're just offering them less money. They could care which line you put it on. Right. The only thing the seller cares about is how much money you're going to put in my pocket. Yep. And the reason why somebody might want to do this is to get the seller to pay for their interest so they can afford to pay more. Or if the buyer is, if they don't have as much money to put into the house, like down payment, closing costs, then it effectively allows them to finance the closing costs.
Okay.
Because I'll say, hey, here's what I would say. If I wanted to offer $500,000 on your property, then, but I didn't have enough money, or I didn't have enough money set aside for all my closing costs and all my down payment. Mm-hmm. What I would say is, how about this? If I pay you $510,000, would you contribute $10,000 towards my closing costs so that I can write the offer for this amount and finance that $10,000 instead of having to come out of my pocket? You're going to get the money at closing. So if you've got to pay that expense, it's really no sweat off your back. Right. It's just a way that allows me to finance the closing costs so I can make a good offer to you and you can stick in your pocket what you need.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome.
So what most people don't realize is that we actually have loan programs that, and I say we have access to loan programs that you can get 100% of the appraised value, or you can finance 100% of the purchase price, and then a very common loan program will allow you to only have as little as a 3.5% down payment. Right. So it's not like you have to save up 20%. But anyway, I think we hit that nice and strong. We can move on. What I want to talk about now is this. And here's the experimental part. Here's the thing, guys. I'm in my office. I've had at least three meetings this morning before this. I'm going and blowing. I'm talking to real estate
I
agents.
ate a donut. There were
That's
donuts
good.
in the break room.
That's good. Yeah.
Chandler's working hard.
I'm having meetings. You're eating donuts. We make a great team.
I know.
This is good. Well, so I'm not, the live stream is like, it just gives me a chance to talk about things that are on my mind, to give communication, update people. Oh, I talked about the payment structure in our tax protest service is going to change. freetaxprotest.com. I'm going to change the payment structure, and everybody's thinking, uh-oh, it's been free. If you're changing the payment structure, does that mean you're going to charge money? And I'll answer that question coming soon. All right.
Coming soon.
So, but part of what I'm doing here is bringing things to the table that I haven't maybe fleshed out quite as much. This isn't rehearsed. It's live. It's raw.
But this is what it's like every day working with you.
This is true.
This is
me.
But this is how
High energy.
things get done.
Things get done.
Yeah.
We're getting stuff done.
And it's positive.
Yeah. We're kicking some butt. Here's the thing. Oh gosh, what we need to do is we need to show my mission, vision, values document. I think that would be good in a live stream. Although I've only promised to do 4, and this is the 4th one.
Well, we could do more.
Yeah. Let's do. Do you have access to Google Drive over here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you do? Let's do this. So what I want to talk about is something that just recently came up the other day. You know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is going to be in there, but it was in one of our sales conversations with one of our agents. Oh, here we go. I'm going to just show you this. This is how we're wired. I don't think I've shown this publicly. So here we go. You're seeing it first. Whenever the first conversation that I have with somebody, they have to see this right here, because this sets the stage. This tells people our why and where we're heading. And it's actually changed a teeny bit from this, but it's just a way for me to introduce who I am, who our company is, and what we're all about. Okay. And so the obvious thing on here is it says Jesus is my homeboy, right? Yeah. It's kind of a lighthearted way to introduce something that's very serious to me. Jesus is my homeboy. But I'm not here to shove my faith down anybody's throat. I'm here to do what God's called me to do, and what God's called you to do, or whether you even believe in God is your own business. Of course, I have, my faith, whatever principles call me to be in relation with people that have all sorts of different belief sets. And so I could care less believing in the same things or not. That's not a requirement to get this job. All I ask for is, if we're going to work together, I'm going to respect you and your beliefs, and I just need you to be able to tolerate mine. That's it. And the deal is I will inevitably talk about my faith if we're going to have a real conversation and you're going through something, or I don't mean to point at you like you're.
I got issues. I'm just kidding.
we all do though. That's the thing. Right. And if I'm going to be true to me and true to like actually embodying these values that I say I embody, that if I'm going to be honest and help provide some guidance to help somebody get through whatever they're getting through, I'm going to talk about my faith, because that's the honest way about how I deal with it. So I'm not going to hide behind it. I'm not going to hide that. I'm going to be honest about it and mention it. I just need people to tolerate it. Okay.
And I like talking about Jesus too.
There you go.
Yeah. So it makes a wonderful work environment. So what we discuss is positive and Jesus focused.
Yeah. And I would say my experience is we've had people here in this company. We have people in this company right now that are atheists. And, but the cool thing is what Jesus stands for is stuff. Most people really like what Jesus stands for. Yeah. It's just that religion makes people want to puke.
Yeah.
And some people just think it's all made up in fantasy land. So I get all that, but still we can all align on a lot of those same principles. And so to have a conversation about Jesus or whatever is usually people are tolerant and open-minded to that on some level, as long as they don't feel like I'm trying to shove something down their throat, which I don't try and do. But anyway, I just have to acknowledge that. But the reason why I'll pop this up right now is because the priorities thing. Most real estate brokerage companies don't have a priority structure like this, where they're focusing on clients first and team second. It's really weird to me. And this is like very universal. It's not 100%, but there are exceptions to this. But most real estate brokerage companies focus on recruiting only.
Right. And making agents pay money.
Making agents pay money,
so they
fees.
make money off of agents.
Right. So the brokerage company makes money and not the agent.
Right.
Because they don't care about the agent's actual success. They're going to give a sales pitch and recruit the agent. And then once the agent comes on board, it's just kind of like whoever sticks.
Right.
But the company doesn't care because the company's making fees. At my company, I don't charge our agents any fees. I pay for everything. I go above and beyond because of number one on this list, which is clients. If I want our clients to get a certain level of service and a certain product, then I'm going to make sure they have the best photography, the best staging. I'm going to make sure that if I bring a new agent into the mix and I agree with their values and we line up on some of the skills that you have to have in order to represent people in this company, but you might not have all the technical knowledge, then we've got our staff here to fill that gap. So that's the reason why we have Deanna, our transaction manager, and we have a group of support staff that has, decades of experience. Literally, I've been doing this since 2002. Deanna's worked with me for, I should know this off the top of my head, 11 years? Yeah. Okay. So we're able to maintain a high level of service, and do all these things that we need to do to represent clients in a high way and uphold the values that I represent and my name represents. Okay.
Right.
But we've got number 2 on this list, which is team. You don't see recruiting anywhere on this list. And that's why we're not huge, is because that's not my priority. My priority is to serve clients at a very high level. And then it's for our team to be successful, for our agents to actually be successful. I'm not interested in just bringing people on to have warm bodies. If you're not succeeding, accomplishing your goals, and you're on my team, then I have a problem with that. And I'm going to do what I can to either help you be honest with what you're able to put in to work. Yeah. If you're not able to put in the work, we just need to be honest with it about it and find the right place for you. Or if you're motivated and you're able to put in the work, then I have an arsenal of tools and value and opportunity that will blow your mind and help you become very successful as a real estate agent, because we all work together to do number 1, which is serve the client at a high level.
Right.
And that's what it comes back to. If we all focus on the client and keep the client at the top rung, then and we care more about what the client's experience is, what the client's results are, then if we all serve that, then we just take a step in faith that the value will show up. If we provide the value if we provide something extremely valuable for people, then we don't have to worry about making money. We're going to have success. Right. And we just pour into doing the right thing, which is serving the client. And we want to, and the thing that's different about this company is that you have that focus from the top to the bottom to everybody in between. Yeah. Me, you, everybody we are 100% on board with serving the client as the number 1 priority. We don't have a diverted focus on recruiting agents being our number 1 priority. It's how can we serve clients at the highest level? Then how can we serve more clients at that high level? And if we're able to do that and serve more and more people without diluting what we're delivering, then we don't have to worry about the team success, although it is the second focus on this. Anyway, I'll breathe. What do you think?
Well, it's absolutely rewarding when you can help your clients.
Yeah.
And when they come in panicked, scared, don't know, and they leave grateful, thankful, and stress-free.
It feels really good to be the person that you would hope to find if you were in the client's shoes. Yes. And to be able to embody that and actually care. And part of that is you have to be able to afford to do that. You have to be able, there's a certain approach that you have to having, I'm not coming up with the right words, unashamedly, whatever, untethered to do whatever it takes to serve your client in the highest and best way. That's it. And that's the focus. So then, all right. So here's the point. Gosh, all of that was just the intro. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. How'd you let me do that? Unacceptable. All right. I was having a conversation with one of our agents about just what the learning cycle is like when you start as a real estate agent.
Okay.
And I brought this up to say we actually have these conversations because I actually care about our team and I actually care about their success. And so that's the intro is we care about clients and team. And here's the team side. So this is an agent. Actually, I'll just say his name. His name's Jack Matt. We were having this conversation. He's been doing this for a while. He showed up and had extreme success right off the bat.
Yes.
His first year, he was just incredible. And then all of a sudden there's a dry spell. And then all of a sudden he had a month where all these deals closed. And it's like during the dry spell, he's like, this sucks. This is horrible. 100% commission job when you're working hard and your paychecks disappear, there's cause for freak out. Mm-hmm. But then you wait 2 months and all of a sudden it's raining real estate deals. It's like, oh my gosh. And so we were just talking about what it's like to be on this roller coaster where you can have a focus on consistently doing what you need to do to pay the bills and to make sales and to serve clients at a high level. And there's certain things you just can't control. So you might be planting seeds and watering and tilling the soil and pulling weeds, but the daggum seeds just don't grow because you can't control it. That's why I don't do the garden work.
At my house.
I accept the fact that some seeds don't grow. In my true garden, I may not plant them. But the point is that that's all you can do. And all you can do is focus on what you can control. And this kind of principle translates into so many different areas. Mm-hmm. I've heard an analogy of a doctor treats and a doctor practices medicine, but God heals. Mm-hmm. We plant the seeds, we till the garden, but we can't make the seed grow. God makes the seed grow. We can only do what we're in control of. So it's important to be the best farmer, do everything you can, care tremendously, blood, sweat, tears, hustle, all that stuff. But at the same time, give yourself grace because you cannot control the outcome all the time. Right. And then the other side of this is there are certain laws and principles. If you reap what you sow. Right? Well, you have to sow, but you will reap. But sometimes you sow, it's just these things. So we were just talking about the learning curve and what it's like. Now that he's been with us for a while, he's gotten to see some of the ebbs and flows and right. Some of the seeds not grow and then all of a sudden sprout a rainforest and that kind of thing. And we were talking about this idea. I wonder if you can hear me if I get up here. Look, we got 16 people watching and you're going to get all the chance. So we've got enthusiasm. I'm not going to do it. You want to write it or no?
No.
All right.
You're going to ask me how to spell.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just pretend I'm writing up here. You've got enthusiasm that you have to start with, or else you don't ever get to see the results. If you're not enthusiastic starting off, then you're not going to have. But then you also have to act on faith. You don't know from your personal experience what's going to work, and you might be able to tap into my knowledge or look at someone else's results. But at some point, you have to have faith that you can have those same results, and your enthusiasm carries you. Your enthusiasm and faith carry you through until you get those results. Now, the problem is your faith starts to wane a little bit when the results don't show up quite as quick, or your enthusiasm and your hard work, it starts to diminish over time. There's a honeymoon period, and then at some point, it starts to go away. And so something else has got to be there, and that's where the maturity comes in. That's where, in maturity, all that is, it's not like saying you were a child before and now you're an adult. Although metaphorically, I would say you were a child in the business. Now you have grown some. But all it is just this. Jack was reflecting on whenever he had this bit of a dry spell. Well, in the moment, it's time for freak out. Like you should be freaking out because this is food on the table. This is how you're going to pay your bills. And you should be worried if all of a sudden you're depending on this money showing up and then it doesn't show up. But then if that ever happens again, and you've now been through that season, let's call it fall or winter, and you've gotten to a spring or a summer, and you've gotten to see the rainforest sprout, on the other side of winter is spring. So once you go through a winter and you get to a spring and you have stuff show up like that, then the next time you hit a fall or a winter, you can kind of reflect on this and say, you know what, this is just fall, or this is just winter. And I know spring's right around the corner. So that's where your maturity comes in.
It's managing your expectations.
It's managing your expectations. It's having some reference points in your track record of, I've been through this before. I recognize this. I don't need to freak out. I know if I just keep planting, watering, working the soil, then some seeds will grow, and I can't control which ones. You know what? I'm just going to keep focusing on what I can focus on and let God take care of the rest. And that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's hard, but then if you have the experience and the faith, and you know God's got it.
Well, that's part of it. But the thing is like in faith, if you stay faithful for too long without seeing the results, there is a point where you get into this land of delusion.
Right.
So, but at the same time, how do you say where to draw the line? That I can't say for anybody. I know that there are definitely times where I had faith and I walked through some pretty stark winters where I looked delusional, but I just said, you know what? I believe it's going to work out. I'm going to work like it's going to. And then it does. Then I look like, oh, wow, he's got some kind of amazing abilities. No, I just might be half crazy. That's all. But once you get to the phase where you can reference some of those seasons that you've been through, that's what I'm saying. There is a faith component, but that's not the foundation at that point. At that point, it's, I've been through this before. There's maturity. You don't have to have as much faith. So when the faith starts to dwindle, some of these other things start to show up. And then you have this other element, which is laws, which is if you sow, then you will reap. If I just keep planting seeds, I know there's a law of nature I've seen to be true. It's not necessarily a faith component. I know this law to be true, therefore I can rest on that. There is faith involved in it, but when you know that the law is true, like if I sow, I will reap, or I can reap, there's a certain amount of seeds that will grow, then you can kind of rest your hat on that and then operate in other areas. And so we were just talking about these dynamics. And so I just thought, you know what, since I'm doing this live stream, talking about whatever I want to talk about, I'm going to just talk about some things I've never talked about before. And then I'll talk about one last thing, which is how to get rich. I keep teasing this one, which is probably the thing I should have led with, which is I'm not going to tease this anymore. I'll tell you. So with freetaxprotest.com, you might have heard me say a couple of times recently, if you can't afford to pay for property tax service, then we're going to do it for free. No strings attached. That part hasn't ever changed. The only thing that's changing is just this. This past year has been ridiculously hard. Let's say hard, costly. And to run what I'm doing here cost a ridiculous amount of money. It's expensive. I don't charge anybody for this. It's not that it's not free. It's very expensive. It's just that I don't ask people to pay. So the thing that I'm doing different this year is if 100% of people signed up and said, I want you to protest my property taxes for free, I would do it for 100% of people. No strings attached. This year, I'm going to have a question in the sign-up form that says, if you can afford to pay a little something to pay it forward so that I can help even more people, then here's an opportunity to do that. And it's just going to be straight up. I'm going to say it as plain English as I just said it today. And it's just going to say, if you can afford to contribute a little money, donate, whatever you want to call it, then if you can pay, then please pay. And if you pay more, I'll be able to help more people. And it's like, I'm not afraid of money. I don't think money is evil. I'm happy to make it. I'm very capitalist. I just believe that when you can help somebody, you help them. And when you can give back to your community, you give back to your community. And then I also believe that when you're in a position like I'm in, where nobody else has an understanding of the problems going on with property taxes like I have.
Right.
And the people that know certain aspects of that at a very high level, they're getting rich off of the property taxes. So they're not going to solve the problems. And the people that would have the passion to help solve the problems, they don't have the knowledge or they don't have the ability, which by ability, I mean relationships with politicians like I have, or they don't have an email list of, 75,000 people like I have. So I just look at it like there is a responsibility of being in this seat, and I have a life purpose and a mission where I'm going to do what I can to try and help solve the property tax problems. I just realize it's much bigger than me, and I need all the help I can get. And if you're on board with that, then I need to be willing to accept help, or else we're not going to get anywhere solving this problem. So there you go. That's what that's all about. Did I explain that well enough?
I think it's amazing.
If you're listening and you have a question about this stuff, just put it in the comments. I'm going to answer some questions here in just a moment. But we are coming out on that hour mark. Let me see what this says. How's the commercial market looking? I have a fourplex in Arlington. I have fought Tad over the appraisal. Property value $250,000, and Tad proposed $500,000. Settled at half. I'm thinking time to sell. If you need to sell, holler at me. We can help you do that. I can also give you some. I just don't think you should sell because you're being forced to sell because of property taxes. Yeah. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
If you need to sell, I can help you sell. But and I certainly would love it. That's how we fund 95% of everything we do, is when somebody returns and says, hey, I need a realtor I can trust. I know I can trust you guys. I know you do good work. I know that you work hard and you have values that align with me. I know I can trust you, so I'm going to hire you. Then that's what has funded 95% of what we're doing today. So happy to help you with that. I just think it's wrong to be forced to sell because your taxes are so high. So I'll tell you, Global Traveler. Should I talk?
Put my email out there.
I got to talk. Sure. Well, let's do Chandler. Let's see here. I can talk for a second. Chandler. I've got a couple more things. If you want to, if you need help, just holler at me. And I'm going to get my staff to help out. My staff helps with everything. All right. To answer this question for the Global Traveler, I could explain. I'll just tell you. I'll cut to the punchline, and then I might explain more, just kind of depending on if you and everybody think it's a good idea for me to explain more. I'm going to tell you the secret right now. The way you win is by suing the appraisal district. That's how you win. The only problem is single-family residential property owners don't stand to gain as much unless you got a $5 million house. So we can't afford to sue. But the reason why the commercial property owners and multifamily property owners, the reason why they are very successful and they have an advantage in the tax protest system because of how the laws are written. And the laws are written so that basically if a multi-million-dollar property owner wants to if they want to protest and get a bunch of money knocked off, then they sue the appraisal district. The appraisal district doesn't have the money to fight those lawsuits, so they settle almost 100% of all those lawsuits. They settle. And so then this is how you get Walmart in the same period with single family residential houses have gone up by 50%. Walmart went down by 1.5%. You know what happens with that? The single family residential property owners foot the bill for Walmart, and that's screwed up because people are calling our office every single week crying because they're getting taxed out of their house. And here's where I look at this whole situation. So that's your answer, Global Traveler. You got to sue the appraisal district. And here's the thing. The way that I look at this is you're not evil for suing the appraisal district and participating in this process. In fact, I would say if you're the owner of a commercial piece of property and you're running a business and you're not suing the appraisal district, then what's happening is you're not taking advantage of the legal path that's been carved for you to take care of your business, to make sure that you're giving your company the financial advantage that all the other multi-million-dollar companies are taking. And if you're not doing that, you're stupid and you're kind of committing a sin against your company. Here's where I fall out on this. Number one, it's super screwed up and corrupt that what I just said out loud right now is being brushed under the rug and it's not common knowledge. That's one reason why our property tax system is as bad as it is because of that one factor. And our politicians and the people that are in a position to talk about that sort of thing are not talking about it. They're keeping it hidden. Okay. And the people that we need to stand up for us are the politicians. They need to take the donors that are funding their campaign and they need to say, you know what? Thanks for your money, but I need to do what's right. Because politicians aren't here to make money. Politicians are here to stand up for what's right. And then also look at this. Yeah. We don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Texas is the best state in the whole union because for a lot of reasons, we have the best people. I was going to make a comment about women. I'm married, by the way. I don't want you to slap me. So I'm just kidding. But one reason why Texas is so great is because we are business friendly. And we don't want that to go away because we like our jobs. We like the fact that we are going to get to make more and more money. We like our cost of living being low. And there's certain things that contribute to us being a business friendly state. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't care how much profit the corporations make. I could care less. What I care about are the jobs that they provide to us. I understand that they have to make a profit in order to provide jobs. So I'm not against the profit. I just don't care about the profit. Their profit's not a concern to me. I care about the jobs, but I'm not going to rain on their parade and cause them to, get robbed of their profit, which is going to cause them to decrease their jobs. And I'm not going to rewrite these property tax laws. If I had a magic wand and I could rewrite these property tax laws, I wouldn't just change it overnight. But what I would do is I would make sure that it's dealt with in an honest, forthright way. Right now, it's not honest because nobody knows what's going on, and they're doing everything they can to fight against these changes and make sure that none of this stuff hits the public view. And so it's happening in a dishonest way. My thought is everybody needs to understand how the system works. We need to evaluate it. We need to see what the benefits are of the system working the way it is, like the benefits we get for being a pro-business state, having great jobs. Yeah. And then we need to let people say, if we I don't know if voting is the right way to do it, but we need to have our politicians standing up and making decisions on behalf of what's best and how they best represent their constituents, saying we don't want the jobs to go away, but we also don't want people being taxed out of their homes just so these guys can make a profit off our backs. Or if we're going to allow this to happen, we need to at least make sure that everybody understands, right. And it's being done right in front of your face. And the only people that are going to stand up for that are going to be activists like me, because I'm an activist now, apparently. And congratulations. And politicians. Yeah. You can't expect the business owner to take the moral stand. They have to do what they have to do for their company. I can't fault them for that. That's where the politician comes in. We need to rewrite the laws to make it more fair, to look out for the folks, to make sure that the people aren't paying the price for those guys. I think that there are some ways that we can do that where we won't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater, but it needs to be dealing with this in an honest way and not trying to deal with it in a way that panders to the special interests of your donors. How's that?
Yeah.
All right.
Amen.
Amen. Praise Jesus. Jesus is my homeboy. All right. I'll mention one more thing. I promised I was going to teach people how to get rich. I'm not rich yet. Actually, I am. I think we're all rich. But here's principles never change. When you're looking at what you're going to do to make money, what you're going to do, the principles are ancient. Good, sound principles, they don't change. It doesn't matter what kind of new technology we have. It doesn't matter how many genders we have. It doesn't matter how society has advanced. It does nothing. Yeah, I was wondering if you heard what I said. Nothing matters.
We're gonna feed it.
Nothing. Sound, ancient principles of truth have been here for thousands of years. And if people are starting to say, "Oh, that principle has changed," you might want to check yourself on who you're listening to. Now, that's on one side. On the other side, there's all sorts of techniques and technology that have changed. You've got all sorts of crazy stuff. So if I'm like, just the advent of technology, let's just leave it at that, and new ways of doing things. But so when you're looking at how can I make a living, how can I get rich, what we've got to do is we've got to make decisions through the lens of the principles that are based on wisdom, ancient, wise principles that are unchanging over time, and look at the techniques and the solutions through that lens. And then, so within that framework, there's going to be your tried and true methods of earning an income, which, by the way, your income is the number one wealth producing tool that you're going to have, is your income. So we got to focus on income first and foremost. Investing doesn't matter until you got some money to invest, right? And then it starts to matter. Start early, start young, whatever. I have no idea. I'm not old, so it doesn't matter. But all I'm saying is this: when you're looking at income, let's just start there and we'll end there. Is focus on tried and true, and then you can do some experimental stuff. But you don't want to hang your hat on the experimental. And by the way, where all this is coming from is my son Stanley. Yeah. His mind is blown right now.
How old is he?
He's 12 years old, and he's every bit of 12.
Yeah.
Boy, he's 12 in it hardcore at my house. He's 12 and baby.
He is pushing the boundaries.
He's doing his 12-year-old thing, but he's an incredible kid, and he's having trouble sleeping at night because he is on fire thinking about how he's going to start his first, or it's not his first business. He's done little things, selling lemonade and stuff like that. Yeah. But he came to me the other day talking about day trading and I'm like, day trading? What's going on? Talking about Chat GPT and talking about all these things. And his mind is blowing the ass. So he's like talking about mutual funds and stocks. I'm like, bro, first of all, let's tap the brakes. And then he put out a post on nextdoor.com saying, I'll mow your lawn and pull your weeds, whatever. And so he started with it. And I was like, all right, so here's what we got, Stanley. Immediately people respond to his post about pulling weeds. And I said, here's what we got. This is tried and true. You're going to go and you can mow this person's lawn. You can pull their weeds and you're going to get paid. And it's going to be great. It's going to be more money you've ever had. It's awesome. Okay. And that's tried and true. And you're going to make a good living doing that more than any of your friends. And it's going to be awesome. Now you've got this day trading thing over here, or some of these other things. I was like, this is going to be experimental for you because you've never done it before. The learning curve to do it would be massive, and it would cost you a ton of money to learn. And by the time you learned and you thought, there's going to be mistakes that are going to cost you a ton of money. So I'm okay with an experimental thing, but the way you got to structure it is focused on the tried and true. Don't get enamored with this over here. Save some money and take a certain percentage of that and use it on your experimental. And that way you make sure you can continue to make progress on, you take your money, you save some, you got to save some for taxes and tithing if that's what you're into. We are at our house. So if you're going to do that stuff, you got to do that, and you can take a certain percentage of that and use it for your experimental. But you've just got to realize its place. You don't want to hang your hat on the experimental. And so, I don't know everything there is about getting wealthy, but there are certain things like that I take it for granted that you actually have to learn stuff like this. But that's where everybody starts. And I just thought, it's an opportunity for me to talk about some of these foundational things that really it's all about the foundation. If you don't lay a foundation, then nothing else matters. It's going to fall apart.
You actually have to work.
Got to work. My God, I said I was going to be calm.
You're so excited.
I am excited. I can't help it. I'm excited and I just can't hide it. I just had a flashback to Jessie Spano.
I don't know who that is.
Taking sleeping pills. She was taking caffeine pills. Jessie Spano, give me a shout out on if you remember that episode where Jessie Spano is taking caffeine pills, and she said, "I'm so excited." It's great. I don't know if she's I just can't hide it. All right, let's see if there's any questions. If you have a question, holler at me. We're gonna flash a few up. We don't have a lot of comments, but that's it. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm back. I was frozen for 2 minutes. We're gonna get through that part of it, and then we're gonna say hi to. Okay, we already talked about who the accuser is. I put a link in the comments. Yes, we want to. Robert, I don't know what you're asking or answering. It's a long time ago. That was at 10:12.
He wants to know who the accuser was.
That was an hour ago. I put a link down there.
Yeah.
I named names in that blog post. So if you wanted to, I'm going to make you dig a little bit because I want to stay out of that. Thank you, Beth. Thank you. I believe in Here's what I've learned. There's safety in the light. You bring the truth will set you free. You take it out of the shadows, bring it into the light, and there's safety there. So I have named names and I have brought this stuff out into the light because in that there's also protection. Because if I also name a name and then something happens to me, God forbid, you kind of know where to look. So there is safety in that, but I also don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to be tacky and I don't want to stoop to their level. So it's a fine line, Beth. And I think that you're right. And that's the reason why I'm not saying their name right now. So there you go. I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but that's what I do, yo. All right, say it. Bring embarrassment. I like it. Trust me. I got that in my heart as well, Robert. I want to make them pay, but that's kind of the difference between the good guys and the bad guys. The good guys are going to have boundaries, and I think that there is a time to go for the throat, and but it's not. It shouldn't be done out of emotion. It should be done out of sound decision making and calculated, and bring the truth will set you free kind of thing. It's let a spade be a spade. Call balls and strikes. If something's good, say it's good. If something's bad, say it's bad. And you know what? Oftentimes there's a mix.
Right.
So just call it what it is. All right. You should say who filed the complaint so no one seeks their services. I'm gonna let you do that on your own. But I like it. I'm telling you, it's like there's definitely a part of me. It's
You're
like
still human.
I'm still human. Yeah, for sure. Agree with keeping the accuser insignificant. There we go. All right. Wow. So I should talk trash about people. I got everybody to comment. That was good. So if you don't know, here's your, you can go check it out there. So I'm just working my way through the comments right now. Excuse me.
Yeah.
How is the commercial? All right. So I've answered this pretty well.
Yeah.
What's up, Sarah? How you doing? You had to wait. I don't know. When did you make that comment? No, that went about 12 minutes. You had to wait for a shout out. What's up, Sarah? Thank you so much. We appreciate you. You're wonderful. Hit the nail on the head. Sharon Bass, you are awesome. Let's see here. Is there any written documentation that we can utilize for year-to-year percentage property tax increase when protesting? I thought there was a limit. So here's where this is coming from. It's probably, you know where it's coming from?
The written documentation we utilize year-to-year percentage property tax increase when protesting. They're talking about the 10% limit.
There you go.
The homestead exemption.
The homestead exemption. Yep. So, man, I would like to talk about the legislation, but we're going to wrap this thing up. What we're talking about is value caps on exemptions, the homestead exemption. So when you have a value cap, then you're only going to get taxed on a maximum of 10% gain per year. Right now, that's only for homestead property. So your primary residence is the only thing that could qualify. But the appraisal district is still going to appraise your property at what they think your property is worth, which would be 100%. It's supposed to be 100% of market value. And by the way, values are probably going to go up 10 to 20% this year, even though they're probably going to be, this is whack. They're going to probably, tax values are probably going to be higher than what your house is worth today, because comps last year were higher than where it's at today.
Right.
I made a video on my YouTube page that explains that.
Do you know, sorry to interrupt you. Do you know if you didn't see your value go sky high last year, will you see it go sky high this year? Is there like...
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's supposed to be in line with market value. If you're protesting every year, then you're just making sure that you're not leaving a lot of meat on the table.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, your value is going to be based, if you're protesting, it's going to be based on market data. So
for all the people that you got reductions for last year, the law says there has to be overwhelming evidence to increase it. Do you think that the real estate market is what they will say is overwhelming evidence to increase it?
The real estate market has been bipolar and just insane. You go from 3% interest rates to 7%. You go from less than a month of inventory to now we're at like maybe 2.5, 3 months. So what you're going to see a mix of data, comparable sales that are up high and some that are down low. So that's going to give the appraisal district the ability to value your property high. And then hopefully we'll have the ability to get comps that are low. And so I think that this year you stand a chance at getting a massive increase, but also possibly being able to get a massive reduction off of your protest. We won't know until April the 15th when values come out.
Okay.
So we'll see. But I was going to say this. just as it relates to some of the legislation that they're considering right now, if you were to cap all property values and say we can only get taxed on, let's say, 50% of what the property is actually worth, it actually does no good whatsoever if you cap all properties like that. Now, there's an argument to be made that if you only cap some of the properties and not all of them, then it's the government picking and choosing winners and losers. I would actually be in favor of capping single family residential properties only and not the commercial, because what's happened in the past, that would be the government picking and choosing winners and losers. We're just dealing with the pendulum swinging back and forth. The reason is because there was a law passed that picked winners and losers, but they made the commercial side win. Mm-hmm. And so they're winning in a big way, and we're having to pay the price for it. I think that if we get value caps in, it would level even everything out. I just wanted to say that. So the Senate is proposing just homestead caps at this point. The House is proposing a cap on all properties. I'm against capping all properties because it actually won't do us any good. And I could explain that in more detail, but this thing's kind of running long and we're going to wrap it up. But anyway, so there you go. If you reach out to our office, TDs.
Yes.
And we'll help you. 100% agree. Praise Jesus.
Yes.
Sarah, what up? Shout out. What is a reasonable increase on property taxes? Is it inevitable that your taxes increase every year? The answer is, what's reasonable? 0. That's, I want them to go down. Reasonable is like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't think reasonable. It's not. I don't think that's the question I want to answer, because I don't want to say that anything is reasonable. I'll just say this: what is justifiable by the law is not actually up. The way you determine that is you fight and you protest and you get down as low as you can get it down. And that's as high as they should be able to raise it within the structure that we currently have. So your homestead, principal residence, you need to have your exemption on there. Make sure that 10% cap is on there. That's going to help you out tremendously. But beyond that, you have to protest. And you know what? Here's the ugly truth. If you've had property sales in your subdivision that have been sky high over the past year, then they can justify a value that's very high. And if you've had some duds, that some houses that people that had to sell in the last, in November and December, then you may have some low sales. And so it's just whatever is justified by the data. The system's screwed up. The lines are not drawn right, but that doesn't help you with today in your tax bill and this year's tax value. The answer is protest, and that's it. Just protest. So, yeah. All right, let's look here. TDs, whatever. You said that helps. I was referring to single family residential as well. Thank you guys. There you go. Yeah, there you go. He's just we're having a conversation here. This is kind of cool.
I know. I like it.
And kind of come. And you know what's really cool? Mm-hmm. This comment is from YouTube, and then we've got comments from Facebook and from my personal page and my company page. And let me ask this. Here's something I was thinking about doing. I've reached the 5,000 friend limit on Facebook, and there's something I can do where I can switch my profile to a public figure profile. It sounds stupid. I guess I am. I'm a public figure. I'm in the news all the time. I'm an activist and a public figure. Whatever. I'll be whatever you want me to be. Just do the freaking right thing. Anyway.
You have a bobblehead.
You gave me a bobblehead. You're responsible for that. But I was thinking about switching over to the public profile things just so I can be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is that weird? Does it get impersonal? Because I want to have a personal connection too. I don't want to just, I want to have that.
Not have a personal connection if it's public figure?
I don't know. It doesn't feel the same. I don't know. I'm thinking about just doing it and just test it. Yeah. I was thinking about, let's see what she's saying. You're a public figure now. I don't know. It's a weird thing, right? I don't know. It is what it is.
You're the mascot.
I am the mascot. I'm comfortable with being a mascot.
You were a mascot.
I was the mascot in high school.
Can you guys believe that?
The Blue Mighty Fighting Gophers are serious, and you better watch out. They're the best high school in Grand Prairie, and you watch out. All right, I was the mascot. So, all right,
Wait, it was a gopher, a blue gopher.
yeah,
Okay.
you knew that.
I
You're just
I didn't
enjoying
know-
dwelling
no,
on this
I
for the
didn't know
moment.
What it was? I was thinking like a bear or something.
Mighty
like a mighty
Fighting Gopher.
gopher.
Yes.
And it's blue.
Yeah, that
Are blue gophers native to Texas or something?
there's a sizable amount of blue gophers in Grand Prairie, Texas, that will wipe the floor with
Do you remember
any of
what
these
my-
other
do you remember
schools,
what-
especially if you have a red color. Is what are you gonna say?
What was my high school mascot? Do you
I don't know.
remember? It was a baker,
A baker,
a miller.
a miller.
He had a baker hat and an apron
If-
and a rolling pin.
If you're into carbs, it's
Let's
like
go, Washburn Millers.
there you go. That's great. That's good. It's delicious. It's making me hungry.
Just
See, our
crazy.
gophers would eat your
For sure.
bakery
For
items, your baked goods. All right. Let's see what we got here. I'm watching you on TV, on YouTube, but since you said Facebook, I tested out. Oh, so cool. Oh, there you
It's
go.
cool.
So she's just testing, or I don't know, whatever. Second account for that? I don't know. I've got a company. Whatever. We'll see. What's this say? I think the public figure would be cool. We'll see.
It's hard to keep up with everyone, and you want to have a good
Mr.
relationship.
Tax Hero, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason Allen's the man. Man, you're the man. Yeah. All right, y'all. I got a lot of work to do. We got some crazy stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to tell anybody about. Holy moly, it's so crazy. It's super crazy. Hey, it's going down. That's all I'm going to say. It's going down. And look, if you need to buy or sell a house, reach out. We will take care of you. Here's what we do. One more commercial.
One more
Here goes.
commercial.
Let me explain something. It's gonna be a commercial, but I'm also gonna explain something about business and real estate and all this stuff. Okay. Tons of people have a real estate license. Tons and tons and tons. There's also tons of attorneys out there too. Do you know there's good and bad, and it actually matters who you get? And here's the thing. One way you can know for sure you're dealing with a subpar realtor is if they discount their commission. Let me explain why. Like, obviously, but we're working with people to accommodate situations. Everybody's situation is unique. So we're not stuck in a box. Some people actually need a lot more marketing than another. This last one, we had drone footage done. If you're sitting inside of a cookie cutter neighborhood, you're probably not going to benefit by drone footage. We would just look stupid if we were doing that. But we're going to do the 3D thing. Anyway, here's the point. Not all realtors are created equal. And the point is, you as a real estate company, we've got to ask, how can we add value to our client? And you can add value in a couple different ways. We can add value by decreasing what we charge, or by helping you stick more money in your pocket by helping you sell for more. Okay. And here's the thing. If we decrease I'm just going to do it mathematically. If we decrease what we charge, let's say if we're charging 3%, and let's say if we're charging 4%, let's just start there. And let's say we discount 2 percentage points, and now we discount, and now we're only going to charge 2%. Let's come up with a size of house. So let's say if it's a $400,000 house, then if we decrease 2%, that's $8,000, right?
Sure.
So if we were to decrease $8,000, now the question is this: if we were to charge a full 4%, can we put that $8,000 to work to help you stick more than $8,000 in your pocket? And the answer is yes. Here we can. But if a realtor has no clue how they're going to help you stick more money in your pocket, then they're going to discount their commission. And that's the way that they're going to create the value. Is the only way they can create value is by decreasing the cost instead of increasing the benefit, increasing what they're going to stick in your pocket. So most people don't know how they're going to take the extra money and leverage it to help you stick more money in your pocket. They don't have the marketing. They don't have the manpower. They don't have the expertise. I've been doing this for 20 years. And so at the end of the day, we can create value up front by discounting.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if a realtor is charging full price, they're not discounting, it doesn't mean you've got a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It can mean they're very overpriced. But you're not going to find somebody that can add a tremendous amount of value to the real estate transaction if they're discounting. They're not doing it, okay? Because it takes money to actually go out there and sell a house and do it in the best way possible. So we have to decide as a company, We want to make people happy. How do we make them happy? By adding value in the beginning of the transaction, by discounting fees? Or do we make them happy by trying to help make sure that they've got more money in their pocket at the end of the transaction and make sure that we don't end them up in legal trouble? We can negotiate so that we get the timelines. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into a real estate transaction to help make sure that we're leaving our clients in a better situation than they would have if they went somewhere else. Money is certainly one of them, but timing, hassle, is it just a complete wreck? Do you feel like you're exposed to legal issues and on and on and on? So what we decided is we're going to, instead of doing what it takes to make people happy up front and risk them having subpar results and leaving the transaction not as happy, we're willing to sacrifice maybe not being as appealing to so many people up front so that we can make sure that we leave them on top of the world when the thing closes and they know for sure that they got the best and they've got more money in their pocket than they would have any other way. And it was stress-free or maybe even fun. I don't know if that's even possible, but it is. But, and it takes money to do that. So when we're looking at how do we add value, we want to make sure that we're leaving our clients happy, fulfilled, with fat pockets, getting the best deal that they can get, treated, respected, knowing that they can trust the person that they're dealing with, the company that they're dealing with. It takes money to do that. And we wouldn't be charging first of all, we don't set the market for real estate commissions. The market's already set for that, but we're looking at, and real estate commissions are expensive. There's no doubt about it. But the idea is, what are you getting for the money that you're paying? Are you getting trash and subpar results? Are you feeling good because you're getting a reduced commission and then they leave you with a mess at closing? Or are you getting to closing and you're saying, you know what, let's stay here for at least 2 years. I don't want to do that again, but I feel like we were put in the best position that we can be put in once this deal is closed with the most amount of money in our pocket as possible. And I know confidently that working with these guys was the right move. And we want that result, and our reviews speak for themselves. So there you go. All right. What do we got here?
I think that's awesome.
I think we're good. What do we got? Did somebody just donate? Whoa. What is this? What is this?
What's a super sticker?
Look on YouTube, we've got enough followers and enough views and stuff to where I qualify to be able to allow people to pay money. And so somebody just found us on the World Wide Web and they just paid whatever that is. That yen or something? Somebody help me out. What is that symbol? It looks like money. I don't know though. Jake just donated. I was railing on something. I was passionate, and Jake is encouraging me with throwing money at me. I don't want to stop.
I know.
I'm getting more passionate. It's happening. Anyway.
All
Sorry.
right. You have work to do.
I got so much work. Jake, you're the man. It's so awesome. Thank you. God, you're the first person to donate on YouTube like that. I've never even asked about it. I've never even acknowledged it exists. You just found it, and that means you're an amazing person. All right. Eliminate property taxes. That's one way to do it. Look, I'd sign on to that. It's about finding, I think that there's a moral issue with property taxes.
That's a good.
Let's see what we got here. Missed the original live, but how is it closing? Can you read that out loud for me?
Yeah,
I have trouble reading.
Yeah, asking how is closing the local appraisal district a good plan? It's not really closing it. It would be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about Charlie Guerin's property tax bill, the legislation to propose abolishing the Tarrant Appraisal District.
She wants to know, why would that be a good thing to give it to the comptroller? How would that be better?
Well, here's the thing. They wouldn't be getting rid of it in general. They would just be handing control over to the comptroller. And I would say it's like in Ghostbusters. You remember in Ghostbusters when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man comes on the scenes? And up to this point, the rule was never cross the streams. Never cross the streams. Never, ever, ever cross the streams. It's never a good idea. And then all of a sudden the Marshmallow Man shows up. And then what do they tell him to do? Cross the streams. That's kind of like, this is not it's like, when would it be a good idea to cut off your arm? Well, only if a boulder's strapped on it. Then it starts to, we're in that situation where it might be time to cut the arm off or cross the streams because I believe that the Marshmallow Man is here and is wreaking havoc. and I'm eating as much as I can, but I can only eat so much. Because anyway, so the truth is,
We don't know.
if it's
It's not a perfect plan to.
yeah, it's not. This is how innovation happens in a legal way. And bravo to Charlie Guerin for stepping up and proposing the idea. I like the conversation about it. But the truth is, Ms. Roberts, I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I think it's worthy of conversation because there are some big problems at the appraisal district. You know, it's kind of odd. One of the problems is not their ability to appraise property, as screwed up as this system is. That they're decently accurate at that. It's just, and a lot of the employees there do a great job. So they would not get rid of the employees. It would just basically hand over control to the comptroller. And I saw Guerin quoted. It said it would be it would be permanent, but I don't think it would. I think it would be kind of like to until you get somebody else to get in control. Yeah. So it would just be kind of like a life support situation. Only in the darkest of moments would that make sense to do. But I think it's a great idea. I don't know. Good for conversation. All right. What else we got here? Love y'all. We love you too, True Ruth. I don't even know what your name is. We'll just call you True Ruth. All right. Do y'all have a certain day and time you go live? I've gone live for the past 4 Fridays at 10 a.m. I promised I would have 4 episodes going live 4 Fridays in a row at 10 a.m. And this was the last one. So
you're still sharing that Jesus is your homeboy.
How long have I been doing that?
I don't know.
That's good. I want everybody to get that message. That's so funny. Nobody told me. That's so funny. Well, now everybody knows. All 11 people watching. All right. I don't know if I'm going to do any more live streams like this. It's an interruption to the day. It's nice because I don't feel like I have to I don't have to do any editing. I say crazy stuff. I don't feel like, do you think I'm going to need to delete this one? I think I'm good. I didn't say anything. My wife is I'm going to go home and Megan's going to be like, by the way, if you don't delete that, you're going to get sued, which happens occasionally. So, but it's nice because I can just show up and like riff and ad lib and say crazy stuff. And I don't feel like it has to be polished, but at the same time, I mean, we've been going for an hour here and it's like, you can't really expect most people to show up and watch an hour because I'm not Joe Rogan and, whatever.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, right? Yeah. So, but I don't know if I'm doing it, but it does help. There are things I want to communicate to everybody, and I don't want to keep sending emails. I'm alert. If you're on my email list, you've noticed I don't send you anything. Like rarely, I send something rarely, but I think I may have to start sending more. I've been saying that for years. This is easy. I can get the word out. It's just the problem is not that many people see these messages, and you got to put up with a bunch of stuff sandwiched in between what I really want to say because I say stupid stuff and we just go on riffs and bunny trails and I don't know. It's fun, but I don't know if I'll keep doing it. Steve says the property tax and appraisal districts is an unjust system that must be abolished. Now, I agree with you. It's unjust. It's screwed up. Like eliminating the Tarrant appraisal district only takes care of one problem, but it may be the lead domino. So that's one reason why I'm justifying so much of my time and energy here in our own backyard. Number one, our own community stands to gain by having a better run appraisal district where you don't have to have the fear of them attacking you if you go up there and have an effective protest. And I think that we're straightening that little thing out. But yeah, the problem is the property tax code itself. I've been in the room where the high-powered politicians that are having the conversation about what property tax legislation is going to get written and passed this year. I've been in that room, one of the rooms. It's probably not the only room, but and my conclusion was nothing meaningful is going to happen until we build an army and demand change. And there are a few people out there building that army, and I'm one of them. But I think part of that army building process is taking care of what's going on in our own backyard, just doing the right thing, making sure that our own house is in order. And that might serve as a model for the rest of the state and help people, follow that example in other areas. And then we get legislative support. All right. Love the idea on live discussions. Well, thank you, True Ruth. I think we need to shut this thing down.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, let's put a fork in it. What else? I
That's
love
it.
you all. Thank you so much. I couldn't do what I'm doing without your support. And if you need to buy or sell a house and you need a realtor you can trust, you know where to turn. Appreciate it. Over now.
Bye.
You did great.